Get your reactions ready. The live portion of the show will begin in just a moment.
Cordero hits it deep to right field. Gonzalez back, track, wall, see ya! A 3-run shot, and the Yankees lead 6-2.
Today is April 11th, 2023. It is Game 2 between the Yankees and the Guardians. Yankees are trying to bounce back after a tough loss in Game 1. They look to their ace, Garrett Cole, who is going for win number 3 on the season. My recap and your reactions coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
Hey guys, before we go any further, I got to take a second to thank tonight's sponsor, Game Time. I'll tell you what, trying to get tickets at the last second has always been a nightmare. Someone says, hey, we should go catch the game tonight, or hey, my favorite band is playing in town next weekend. But thankfully, there's a great app for last-minute ticket deals. Game Time has the deals right up until the day of the event. It's the fastest-growing ticket app in the country for a reason. Download the Game Time app and use the code NYY Recaps for $20 off your first purchase. That's NYY Recaps, no spaces, for $20 off on the Game Time app. Lowest price on last-minute tickets, guaranteed. Val in NY says, love these no-pressure wins. Absolutely, my friend, absolutely. Another good old-fashioned passionate ass-whooping. Hey, look, I just read that Joey Gallo is going on the IL with a slight muscle strain. Yeah, right. That means he's not going to be coming to Yankee Stadium. Sounds like he got scared to get booed, if you ask me. Welcome back, everybody. We will have a 4th consecutive rubber match to begin the season. Afternoon game tomorrow, Clark Schmidt on the mound. And then the Yankees head back to New York City. This stuff's made in New York City. Everybody remember that commercial? I always think of that when I say the full New York City line. Good news tonight. Harrison Bader, it sounds like, is going on a rehab assignment next week. Carlos Rodon threw a bullpen today, and Luis Severino says he feels great. All really positive news. Also, Spencer Jones, as we just see in the chat, 4 home runs in 3.5 games. He's doing great. Former first-round draft pick, called a left-handed Aaron Judge. Ian says, new drinking game. Every time Sterling calls the Guardians the Indians, take a shot. Applause if you're still standing after the second inning. I love John. I mean, he's been calling them the Indians for his whole career, and he's had a very long career. So I don't blame him for being a little bit slow. You know, we heard Michael Kay do it tonight, too. It's going to happen to every broadcaster. Every day we get a little bit closer and closer to seeing that full Yankees squad that, they built. Rodon joining the rotation, Severino coming back. I'm legit excited about that rotation. Cole, Rodon, Cortez, Severino, and now the emergence of Johnny Brito. If he keeps pitching like he's pitching, that's a legitimate top 5 rotation in baseball. Also, given that Franchy Cordero has played amazingly well this season, another big 3-run home run tonight, you got to wonder, how they're going to find him at bats once Bader's back, because you're not going to sit Oswaldo, presumably, in left field that much. You might play Franchy some in left field. But Bader's going to be in center. Judge is going to be in right. So those guys are going to be competing for that left field spot. It'd be interesting. Weird lineup tonight, but the Yankees actually swung the bat pretty well with runners on base. And yes, tomorrow we do have a chance to take the series. According to Jeffrey Ellison, he is 100% correct. So tonight did get off to kind of a rough start. Garrett Cole's 3rd start of the season. He came in with a 2-0 record, 0.73 ERA, so you're figuring he's going to dominate. But his fastball was not great tonight. He was throwing a lot more changeup, a lot more curveballs, but he did keep the ball in the ballpark tonight. Yankees actually looked really bad in the first inning. They had 2 runners on, nobody out, did not score, and you're thinking, oh my God, here we go again. Just smash the TV with a hammer so you don't have to watch it anymore. But they managed to turn it around. Bottom half, Guardians immediately put Garrett Cole on the ropes. Kwan had a base hit on an 0-2 pitch, and then Gleyber Torres booted a double play ball. He scored a hit, but I think if you ask Gleyber, he would tell you that he expects to make that play. And I think as fans, we kind of expect him to make that play. But just like that, it was 2-0 after Jose Ramirez smoked one off the right field wall. To be fair, Gleyber did make a nice play to get Garrett Cole out of the inning, but I'm not going to lie. If you had me hooked up to a lie detector after the first inning and asked me if I thought the Yankees were going to win this game, I would have said no, they're playing lousy. But they turned it on. Second inning began with a hard line drive single from Oswaldo Cabrera, followed by a base hit from Jose Trevino. That got them on the board. 2 nice pieces of hitting from those guys. And then Garrett Cole kind of settled back down in the bottom of the second. He got back on track. The umpire was really squeezing him. And it might be my imagination, and I'm sure there's some kind of stat that we can look this up, but it feels like the strike zone calls have been unusually bad all season. Maybe it's the pitch clock. Maybe the umpires just aren't ready to make the call. I don't know. But the umpiring just behind the plate especially has been extraordinarily bad so far. But he did settle in. DJ led off the third inning with a double. Rizzo got hit by a pitch because that's what he does. And then Torres walked to load the bases for Willie Calhoun, who's hitting the number 5 spot. He came up with his biggest hit as a Yankee so far. Line drive shot to tie the game at 2. And then Oswaldo followed up with a sac fly to make it 3-2. Really nice, productive at bat from Oswaldo. And just a general observation about Oswaldo Cabrera. Well, 1, he should have less days off. But 2, he's just a really good baseball player. I mean, he plays well in the field wherever you put him. You put him at shortstop today. Plays left field one day, right field another day. He'll probably play some third base, some second base, maybe even some first base. And he said next winter he wants to learn how to catch. Switch hitter. I mean, just to be a switch hitter at the big league level means you're an incredibly gifted athlete. I mean, you're in the top 1% in terms of ability. I mean, Aaron Judge can't get up there and hit left-handed. I mean, even the best players in the world, most of them are typically one side or the other. To be a decent hitter, and he is a decent hitter, from both sides of the plate is extraordinarily difficult. And the fact that he runs hard, he plays hard, he's got all this great energy, he wants to do anything he can for the team. I love the guy. I'm going to give him a round of applause. Later on in the inning, Franchy Cordero, and you can bet the Ranchy on Mr. Franchy.
There it goes. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone.
3-run shot. That made it 6-2. Third home run of the season for Cordero. By the way, get your belt votes in. I haven't quite decided between Cordero and Garrett Cole yet, so get those votes in, and I'll it's about 50-50 from what I've seen so far on the comments and in Twitter. But we'll make a decision here in a second. And Frankie with the dynamite drop in says the Franchi connection. I love it. Oh! So top of the fourth, Judge singled to make it 44 consecutive games on base, dating back to last season. The man is unreal, just unreal. Rizzo singled with the bases loaded to make it 7-2. Yankees did just such a better job of hitting with runners in scoring position today. And they face Aaron Savali tomorrow, who they hit pretty well in the playoffs last year. So hopefully they can do it again. Hicks even picked up a multi-hit game tonight. He was hitting laser beams. Maybe that gets his confidence back a little bit, but I still think he's at the point where fans, every time he strikes out in the Bronx or makes a bad play or pops up, which happens often, they're just going to unload on him. And the pop-ups are the worst because it's like you got to wait for the inevitable catch. So you have like a little bit of extra time to boo him before he walks back to the dugout. So I'm sure we're all looking forward to that. But 2 hits tonight, let the man celebrate. I'm always going to root for him. I hope he turns it around. but I'm skeptical. Rizzo hit a booming double off the right field wall to make it 9-2. The man has quietly gotten off to just a phenomenal start this season. I'm going to look up his batting average in a second, but I think he's hitting over 300 so far. What did he do in his last at bat? Let me just pull up the box score real quick. He was 2 for 3 with a walk and 2 RBIs, hitting 314 on the season. Very nice for Anthony Rizzo. So Garrett Cole was done after 7 innings. Not his greatest performance, but still pretty damn solid. 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. If you look at the stats at large, he's off to a Cy Young caliber start. 3-0, 1.40 ERA. Phenomenal. Andrew says, I wish they would play like this in the postseason. Well, you're not going to face pitchers like that in the postseason most of the time. Guardians, not a team that hits a lot of home runs in general, but I think it's important to mention that Garrett Cole has done a nice job keeping the ball inside the ballpark this year. As Borat would say, very nice. I just feel like he's handling that part of the game better. His misses are better. He's missing up above the strike zone. He's not missing down the middle of the plate. And that's probably just a, I guess, mechanical thing. So Yankees hang on to win a nail-biter.
Ball game over. Yankees win. Yankees win. You're a winner.
And I hadn't decided on the belt till just now, but Hirsch won me over. He says, Garrett Cole showed moxie. That's a great way to describe it. And I believe this is going to be his 3rd belt of the season.
Let's go. Belt winner.
And most importantly, as mentioned by Anthony Medina, keeping the ball in the ballpark. You know, last year it seemed like every time somebody got on, he would get flustered, and there would be the inevitable 3-run home run. This year, he's avoiding that. This year, the breaking ball is not hanging out over the plate. It's diving sharply into the dirt at the last second. It's been almost unhittable. And the fastball, while it has been hit from time to time, it has not been hit that hard because he's putting it in good spots. And Darthius, great name, says that Cole should go bald to achieve his true potential. What, like Michael Jordan style? Love it. Aaron says, I don't think the world is prepared for a bald Garrett Cole. And Frankie says Garrett Cole is the first to 3 belts this season. 3 for 3. 3 opportunities. Let's take a look at the box score tonight. I like the layout here on Baseball Theater better than on MLB.com, honestly. I like seeing everybody at the same time, not having to switch tabs between teams. A lot of multi-hit games for the Yankees tonight. 13 hits. They don't usually get 13 hits. They're not a team that picks up a lot of hits. And the fact that they got this many hits and just 1 home run, and it was from a guy who wasn't even on the team for most of spring training, pretty much all of spring training. Interesting. LeMahieu 2 hits tonight. Judge 2 hits. He's hitting .341 with a 1.076 ERA. Tell a great athlete what they can't do. Tell him he can't have an amazing season and watch. Rizzo, 2 for 3, hitting .314, 889 OPS. I mean, the numbers just jump off the page. Torres had a rope base hit late in the game, hitting .371 with a 1.179 OPS. Volpe, I thought he was getting the night off, actually came in to play defense late in the game. That keeps his games played streak alive. He's only got about, 2,500 and something until Cal Ripken. Calhoun, 1 for 5 with an RBI. Cabrera, 1 for 4 with an RBI. Seems like every time he's in there, he just picks up a knock. And he hasn't even really started crushing the ball yet. No home runs, but we know that he has power. I'm looking for him to go deep against the Twins. Last year, we used to do the Nostraderic thing. I don't do as many pregame shows as much anymore because I'm more focused on doing the postgame. And I do this Yankees Chronicles series, which we're going to do after every series now. And we're releasing another one probably tomorrow night, probably late tomorrow night or early Thursday. But check that out. You know, I don't know. It's just it's been fun to watch so far. Garrett Cole obviously dominated, 1.40 ERA, 2 scoreless innings from Abreu and the Yankees. Take care of business. Aaron says, do you think Hicks is just going to do better on the road without the constant boos? You would think that a player would do better on the road if they're not getting booed, just able to kind of, take a breather. But you would also think that somebody would be more comfortable, sleeping in their own bed and, being with their family and all that stuff. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Andrew Calabria says, I don't like that the fate of this series is in Clark Schmidt's hands.
Since when did you get so smart?
I agree. Tomorrow's not going to be an easy one. This is one of those games where it was good that the Yankees didn't have to use much of the bullpen. You used Abreu, but you still got Hamilton available. You still got Peralta available, Marinaccio available, and most importantly, Clay Holmes available, Mike King. I think tomorrow what you tell Clark Schmidt is get through the order one time. Get 9 outs, all right? And do it the old way. Forget the cutter. The cutter's not working. The average batted ball velocity on the cutter so far is, I think, about 100 miles an hour. The Bronx Pinstripe Show had a segment on Clark Schmidt's cutter in their most recent episode. I highly recommend it. By the way, their YouTube channel's great podcast. Shout out to those guys. But the cutter just is not working as advertised. So I think he needs to go back to throwing that curveball for strikes, try and spot it, and then go with the fastball. Get ahead with the breaking ball, pitch backwards. All right? You don't have a great fastball. Guys foul it off or whatnot, but if you can throw the curveball for strikes and get ahead with the breaking balls, that's going to force guys into a defensive position, and it's going to force them to stay on guard for that breaking ball. Then you elevate the fastball in and above the hands. That's how you pitch with Clark Schmidt's stuff. We'll see how it works out. Hirsch says he needs to trust his stuff. The fact is he's got one of the best curveballs in baseball, but not much else. You listen to all these stats like stuff plus and stuff, and I just don't buy it. You can tell what kind of stuff a guy has by watching how hitters react. Jim Cotton used to always say, the hitters will tell you what kind of stuff you have. And when I see Clark Schmidt, I see them have bad swings on the curveball, but I also see them foul off a lot of the hard stuff, right? If he can throw the curveball and establish it and keep guys ready for it, then he might have a little bit more success with the hard stuff. I guess we'll find out. Pedro says he can only get better. Well, we'll see. What was it that the optimist and the pessimist said? The pessimist said, well, this can't get any worse. And the optimist said, oh, yes, it can. Nick Hartung says he can't get past lefties. Yes, he's had trouble getting lefties out. The problem is the cutter has been right over the middle of the plate, right? It takes a long time to pick up a new pitch and to be able to spot it wherever you want. It's not something that can typically happen over the course of one spring training. Wayne says Brito has at least earned the opportunity. I agree. I think Brito has got to stay in the rotation.
That is correct.
Sam says Tampa Bay is killing the Sox. Tampa Bay is about to be 11-0, and you guys can doubt them at your own peril. They're a good ball club. They've got pitching, they play really good defense, and they're hitting a lot of home runs this year. Veritas Invicta says, just take the finale tomorrow.
Oh, righty then.
Frankie says, why did Glaber exit the game? Well, Judge exited the game too. I assumed it was because of a blowout. If they say something on the other post game, let me know. But William M. says, gotta grab one of your dope hoodies. Appreciate that. So if you do want to check out the hoodies, I'm actually wearing one right now. I'm going to sit back for a second. So those of you who are listening, you're going to miss out on this next part. I'm actually rocking the red Aaron Judge hoodie. This is my favorite one. It goes good with the victory hat. But we added some Volpe merch. We've got some Martian merchandise. I don't think anybody else is selling much Martian paraphernalia. The Core 5 seems to be selling really well. I think we just crossed 60 orders. So 60 people have helped us out. So that's huge. Nasty Nestor seems to be pretty popular. I pretty much put all the popular stuff up there. A few things I threw in. I don't think anybody's got any of the belt shirts yet, and nobody's gotten any of the Cole. That's Garrett Cole silhouette, which you just see right there. The coasters seem to be really popular. They're only about $10. You get one, but they're really high quality. They look really good. They got a nice sheen on them. So that's a Volpe silhouette. Got a lot of cool stuff in there. So check it out. It will help out the channel. Take a couple of more comments, but first, I need some water.
Game over, man. It's game over. I gotta get out of here.
Ian says Rays are going 18-1. I mean, like the Patriots that one year?
You gotta go.
Albert says Davey Garcia is transitioning to relief, and I think that's a really smart move. He's got two really good pitches. He's got a good fastball, got a good breaking ball. The problem with his breaking ball is similar to the problem that that Phil Hughes had with his breaking ball, and that's a little bit too slow. You want that breaking ball to really be a wipeout hard pitch, like Garrett Cole throws, or Mike Messina. Just looks like a fastball and then just drops off the table. The problem with throwing one that's a little bit too slow is the hitter can identify it and lay off of it. And it's kind of a big, loopy curveball. So I'm hoping that, given his poise, I think he does have a lot of poise, and given his pretty decent fastball, I hope that they can figure out a way to make him effective. He was exciting when he first came up as a starter. I believe it was 2020, but really hasn't been the same since they took him out of that playoff game after one or two innings for J.A. Happ. J-Hap, whatever. Andrew says, what's your favorite merch? I love the Judge hat. So this hat, I wear this all the time. I actually got recognized in public for the second time the other day. I went to the UPS store and I was wearing this hat. And when I put in the box, I was doing a return. My name was on the box. And the guy looked at it and says, is this you? And I was just like, I was wearing glasses. I tilted down my glasses. And he says, hey. He kind of knew who I was. I thought that was cool. But I wear this hat around all the time. And I kind of designed it to look like the Air Jordan logo. I kind of wanted, the classic Judge follow through. And I think it's pretty sick. By the way, that new Air Jordan movie about, I think it's called Air. It's got Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Matt Damon is the main character. And he plays a rep for Nike, like a basketball guy who's trying to sign Michael Jordan out of college. He had just been drafted. They were trying to sign him to a shoe deal. Of course, this was the birth of the Air Jordan. And it's just a fantastic movie directed by Ben Affleck, who directs. He's a really excellent director. Okay, Frankie Baseball with an update. Let me get the... hang on just a second. Aaron Boone said that Gleyber Torres felt tightness in his hip and groin area on his single in the ninth inning. Boone said no tests are currently scheduled. He could get the day off tomorrow. I think it's a smart idea to give him the day off tomorrow. He's off to such a great start. But Maurizio says Abreu did look good tonight, and I wholeheartedly agree. And Joe with the final word says Rays fans are already an obnoxious bunch. That they are, my friend. That they are. All right, guys. I'll be back after tomorrow's game. Reminder, it's a day game. I believe it's a 1:35 start time, which puts our recap somewhere around, 4:30, 5, somewhere in there, depending on how long the game goes. But I will be live, and I expect to see every one of you back in the chat. Yankees win this one, going away 11-2.
Hey everybody, if you've made it this far, we thank you. If you'd like to support NYY Recaps, please like and subscribe or pay a visit to our Shopify store for some great Yankees merch.
Yes.
If you're watching on YouTube, the link is in the description. But if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, just visit NYYRecaps.shop. If you really want to support NYY Recaps and help keep the show going year after year, join up as a member.
Join us.
It's $5, and members get their names up in lights during each post-game show. We're also on all podcast platforms, Instagram, and Twitch this year. So give us a follow if you use any of those platforms. We're expanding, and we have you to thank for making this such a great community. We'll see you next time.
It is your destiny.
Case closed.
Ball game over.
Most impressive.